Automation isn't optional anymore for beauty professionals in 2025. Honestly, if you have any type of service-based business, you need to automate. I can't believe I'm doing a training on this. These are literally like 37 of the business tools that this company cannot generate multiple six figures, $400,000 a month without these tools, without these automations. And if you're trying to hit seven figures in your beauty business, you need these automations because literally these automations are what got me to seven figures. Before these automations, before these tools, I was just kind of winging it. And I was like trying to figure out how to break out of multi six figures. And then when I implemented automations, oh my gosh, it was like hiring 10 geniuses in my company that were always on time, always in a good mood, never on their period, never forgot anything, were super punctual. And I want you guys to be able to do the same thing. So I'm going to set this up right now, but let me be blunt, you guys. If you are still manually chasing clients, confirming bookings, or forgetting to follow up, you're not grinding. You're just stuck. You're literally stuck in a system that doesn't scale. Whether you want to hear this or not, your competition will out-automate you. I know, right? You just kind of have to get on board now. That's a tough pill to swallow. But I say this with love because I used to be that girl. I used to be the girl that was, glued to my phone, buried in the DMs, double booking myself. I made so many mistakes just using pen and paper, or even just like Booker. Try and remember like who paid and who ghosted even. Yeah, like automation keeps track of that stuff. Automation follows up for you on the people that ghosted you. And I have to say that automation doesn't make you robotic. Automation makes you feel free to be fully present with your clients, free to actually log off, for crying out loud, and live and still make money. I know for a lot of you, we just met, but here's why you should listen to me. Because I make $400,000 a month in my business now, my online business, my brick and mortar beauty business. I was making $200,000 a month. And you guys are going to think this is fake, especially if we just met. But if you've been following me for a long time, you know it's real. So right now, what I'm going to do for you guys, I am going to break down, I can't believe I'm not charging for this, the exact automation tools specifically that I use to run a multi-seven-figure brand. I'm going to show you how easy it is. It's crazy easy, like booking payments, marketing, follow-up. Honestly, I run everything now through Bellavate, but I know that not everybody here is on Bellavate. So if you are not on Bellavate yet, don't worry, I've got you. I'm going to be sharing a ton of alternatives as well so that you guys can start building your own automation ecosystem one tool at a time. And by the way, if you want the full list that accompanies this of the 37 tools that I use, you can download this massive guide right now at sheilabella.com/auto. sheilabella.com/auto. And I'm just going to give it to you. It's got every link, every alternative if you don't have Bellavate, and break down how to use them without needing to be a tech expert and why it's important. So you're in for a ride. I'm going to break this down category by category, starting with the tools that literally make me money while I sleep. And that's what I want it to do for you guys too. You're going to get a back-end tour of the business. I'm going to show you my exact tech stack, what Bellavate replaces and what you can use even if you're just starting. So like I said, grab the 37 business tools I can't live without. sheilabella.com/auto. Auto, like automotive. Before we dive into all of these juicy tools, I need to talk to you guys about mindset. Because this is where most beauty entrepreneurs get stuck. I hear it all the time. I'm not techie, okay? I hear that all the time. I just heard it last night. Automation feels cold is another one I hear. Also, it's so cute. But people say my clients like it better when I do everything manually. Okay. Girl, do they really though? Do they really? Or are you just scared to let go? Now, it's going to combine you and automation, but automation is the initiator and it's perfect. Automation does not mean that you stop caring. It doesn't mean that your business becomes a robot. It means that you're done repeating the same message the same exact message like 50 times a week. Automation means that nobody slips through the cracks. It means your systems work for you so you can actually serve better. I'm not automating relationships. I'm automating repetition. If you have automation, you can show up with more heart, not less. So if you want to grow your business without burning out, if you want more bookings, better retention, and freedom from your freaking phone, right? You got to shift from being the doer of everything to I want you guys to think about it this way. You're the designer of the experience now. And that's what automation allows you to do. And once I embraced that, it changed everything. Financially, my time, my freedom, my clients love the efficiency. So let's get right to it. First, automation is sales and client booking. Sales and client booking, these are the tools that make me money while I sleep. What is the front door of your business? Client booking, payments? Yeah, that's first, yes. Because if your booking system is broken, your whole business is leaking money if you can't do that with ease. You shouldn't be in the DMs scheduling appointments like it's 2016, like manually. That's not CEO energy. That's customer service energy. You don't need to be the freaking receptionist anymore. You need to be the rainmaker. I use Bellavate to automate everything. Client booking themselves, they pay a deposit, they get a confirmation text, they even get a reminder to leave a freaking review after their appointment. All while I'm literally not even on my phone. And all of these things are revenue generating because when clients want to book an appointment, they want to book it now. If a client doesn't get a confirmation text from you, they might miss their appointment. Also, this is where I think automation is much better than texting personally. If your review request seems automated, it's kind of better because it's kind of less awkward. This was an automated message asking me to leave a review. So automation definitely has a lot of pros, and this is what Bellavate does for me. So before all this, I was using automations, but I was piecing together Acuity, Stripe, Google Voice, Zapier, and like 6 different apps just to get one client in the chair. It was like a digital circus. Bellavate does it all in one clean system, just a one-stop shop. So here's something for comparison. So without Bellavate, I use 6 tools and 6 subscriptions to duct tape this all together. Calendly or Acuity is what we use for scheduling. I've used both, but anyway. Stripe or Square for payment. Google Voice, Zapier for missed call text automations. So let's say like you miss a call, then automation should get back to that call for you. Nice job for review requests. And definitely ManyChat or Mobile Monkey for DM automation because Bellavate replaces ManyChat. I know a lot of you guys know what ManyChat is. ManyChat is this. Okay, let me show you on my screen. Okay, so here's my profile on Instagram. So pinned at the top here, I just put, I dropped a massive guide on how to raise your prices. And you guys have probably seen a ton of this on Instagram. And the call to action is comment raise below and I'll send it to you. And look at all these comments. It says raise, raise, raise. And do you see these replies? Amazing, catch you on the inside. Your DMs have the details. That's not me. That's automation. And that used to be ManyChat for me, but now it's Bellavate and it's just all in one system. It's so great. And then you capture that email. Look at this, like in the DMs, this is what happens. This is what people see when they comment that keyword. And it allows you to build your email list, which is massively important, right?
Now, you might be wondering what happens after they click on that link that you automatically sent them in the DMs. Well, it takes them to a landing page that, guess what, is also on Bellavate. So your website, your landing pages, your funnels are beautifully designed by the templates that are already here that's programmed in that you can drag and drop and use, or you could have us professionally design it, which is what the examples I'm showing you right now. And it also holds your website, your funnels. It takes them to a landing page like this. and it gives them prompts, and there's fields that they have to fill in before they get the guide or the ebook that you're offering. It asks them for their name, their email, their phone number if you want, and their Instagram handle if you want. And again, Bellavate also hosts your website, and their information is automatically plugged into the system to keep everything and everyone that you interact with organized.
And like I said, if you want to see how we've set it all up, go to sheilabella.com/auto. I included everything, the exact tools and the backup options if you're not on Bellavate yet. Okay, next thing, so important that most beauty professionals are not keeping tabs on: sales pipelines and funnels. Sales pipelines, that's so important. So no more chasing leads, just clear steps. Let me show you exactly, okay? Honestly speaking, most beauty professionals get stuck at 5K, 8K maybe. I don't think it's their talent. It's not the algorithm. I just worked with somebody with not even 10K followers, like 2,000 followers, and she's making 16K a month. Most beauty professionals get stuck at that number because they're trying to scale without a sales system. If your sales strategy is wait for someone to message me, that's not a funnel. That's a hope and pray strategy. So I use Bellavate to map out the entire sales journey. Do you see these tabs on the top? So these are segments. These are segments of the sales journey. They're like milestones of a sales journey. They become a lead and then an engaged lead, and then they book a virtual consultation or an in-person consultation, and then they either become a customer or you put them in a follow-up sequence. And Bellavate follows up on your behalf as many times as you want it to. And it's already built in. The second someone fills out a form to my lead generator, which we'll talk about in a little bit, from the second someone fills out a form to the day they become a loyal paying client, every single stage of this pipeline, look, is visible. And you know who it is. So you can follow up. And a follow-up is automated. Every hot lead is tagged, tracked, and converted without me needing to chase. And it keeps everyone organized. Like, how many times have you guys met somebody at a party and they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, I could really use that. I would love a consultation with you. And then you just forgot about them or they ghosted. Once you plug them into this, if you plug it in manually, especially if they're in person, you can keep track of them. Or you can send them a link or a QR code, have them scan it so that they can be in your ecosystem. What about that person on Instagram that liked something or commented? They're automatically put into engaged lead. So you continue that relationship. So without Bellavate, this is what I did. I was duct taping, and you're going to be duct taping too. Trello, Airtable to track leads. I was using Airtable, even Salesforce. ManyChat, same thing. Zapier for automation, Typeform, Mailchimp for like onboarding, and your brain to remember who's ghosting you. And that's totally unreliable. But with Bellavate, look, one drag and drop pipeline, one dashboard, zero guesswork, super organized. You cannot scale a premium service off of your memory and good vibes. You need a system that tracks the money-making conversations for you. So let's say a client fills out let's just say a brow tattoo application. So in my Bellavate funnel, she's tagged automatically. She gets a follow-up email. Then she's added to lead tracker. And if she doesn't book, she gets a reminder 3 days later, all on autopilot. Crazy. I don't want sticky notes. And here's what my war room used to look like. I don't want to wonder who's thinking about it based off memory. I want a system that brings them all the way home without dropping the ball. So if you're selling any high ticket service, a package for laser, micro channeling, body contouring, PMU, trainings, anything that's over $1,000, but you don't have a high ticket system behind it, you're making sales way harder than it needs to be. And this is what separates the hobbyist from the CEOs. Now let's get to this next automation, which is, as you guys know, course delivery and coaching. Let's say you're a beauty educator. Let's say you're a coach, you're a mentor, you're a trainer. Your content deserves more than a janky Google Drive link or dare I say even like Kajabi or Thinkific, because it's another freaking place. If you're on Bellavate, it's in one place, because selling high ticket trainings but delivering it through email threads, Facebook groups, or Dropbox folders, or Vimeo, that's not a training business. That's a hustle, and it's burning you out. So I use Bellavate to run every part of my education business. Check this out. I host my courses, trainings. I deliver replays automatically. I run group programs, evergreen funnels, and onboarding. Even send follow-up emails and post-call surveys all in one place. No duct tape required. You can give certifications, you can give homework, you can even have groups like Facebook groups, but in Bellavate. So imagine this. Imagine like a student signs up for like your lash mentorship or something, and they get an automated welcome message. They're added to your calendar. They receive replay access, text messages too that remind them, hey, there's a new lesson in the drive. There's a new lesson in the vault, homework, reminders, all without you lifting a finger. Now, if you're not using Bellavate yet, no problem. Just know that you're stitching together a lot of tools to get the same results. So without Bellavate, you're going to need Kajabi, Teachable for course hosting, and like I said, Vimeo to stream your videos, Zoom, Google Meet for all your live calls, Webinar Jam or Demio for live trainings, ConvertKit or Zapier to follow up and tag people correctly. And girl, that's not even counting setup, integrations, and figuring out how to make all those tools talk to each other is impossible. Trainings are hard enough. You don't also need to be your own tech team. So whether you're running like a 6-week PMU boot camp or an Allergan injectables boot camp or like launching a free lash mapping webinar, your delivery system is part of your brand. So if it looks sloppy or stressful, people assume that your trainings are sloppy and stressful too, even if you're amazing. Let's talk about emails, SMS, and DM marketing. I'm talking text messaging. I hope you guys have an email list that you're using, and text messages and text marketing. Most beauty professionals completely underestimate the power of client communications when it comes to emails, texts, and DMs. This is the stuff, and if you've watched a few of my other videos, this is the stuff that made me a 7-figure business. This stuff is actually what moves people to book, buy, or apply. Because posting on Instagram alone, you guys, is not a strategy. But consistent automated follow-ups, that's what builds trust and brings in sales on repeat. So here's what I do with ease, and I do this with clarity because I have Bellavate. I use Bellavate to handle all of my client nurturing without spamming anyone. So Bellavate lets me send perfectly timed email campaigns, like perfectly timed. And you can set this any way you want. Text reminders and offers. There's even Instagram and Facebook DM automations, and it all feels personal, not robotic. Let me show you again on my page. Comment, raise now. Remember that? These are all automated, and in the DMs, here's what it looks like. And it leads to a landing page where they can opt in and you can capture that email and that phone number. Now, without Bellavate, here's what you'll need. You're gonna need Mailchimp or ConvertKit. You're gonna need Twilio or Zapier to send texts. You're going to need ManyChat for Instagram DM automations. I know a lot of people are on ManyChat, but it's so expensive and it's something else. And like I said, ManyChat doesn't talk to any of your other systems. And when you're trying to figure out how to get all 3 of these tools to communicate with each other while you're still trying to post reels, respond to DMs, and run your business, no thank you. Consistency creates cash flow, and automation creates consistency. So if you're only reaching out when you feel like it, when you're desperate for bookings, your business is going to reflect that same chaotic energy. So imagine if your best clients heard from you regularly, not in a spammy way, but, oh, she gets me kind of way. So you send emails and text messages to greet people of Memorial Day or Easter or back to school, or like maybe little updates here and there, or educational nuggets like why SPF is so important. Not just all sales. So it doesn't just convert cold leads, it keeps people warm. Like, how many emails have you gotten from Crate and Barrel today, or Old Navy? Fashion Nova texts me every day. Nordstrom texts me all the time. This is why this is so important. If email marketing and text marketing is good enough for multi-7-figure billion-dollar companies, it should be good enough for you. They know something. The big wigs over there at Amazon and like at Crate and Barrel know something that you don't, apparently. And at Nike, you get email marketing, you get text marketing. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you. If it's making them money, it's going to make you money. Next thing, stats and analytics. If you don't know what's working, you're going to waste time on what's not. So let me say something again that might sting a little bit. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. You're not broke. You're just not tracking what's making you money. You're spending time on reels that don't convert, trending audio that doesn't convert, funnels that don't close, and freebies that go nowhere. Not because you suck, but because you're blind to the data. And this is why I use Bellavate, because I want everything tracked in one place. I can see which reels bring in leads, which campaigns bring in cash, which team members are closing sales. That's so important. And we keep track of that too. And which ads actually book clients, all in one dashboard. No guessing, no spreadsheets. I don't have to waste energy tweaking what's already working. I double down. And if something's underperforming, I catch it immediately and fix it before it costs me thousands. And you should do the same thing. So if you don't have Bellavate, you're tracking reels in your Instagram app. You're tracking revenue in Stripe. You're tracking funnel performance in Meta ads. And you're logging all of it manually in a Google spreadsheet that you haven't updated since, 3 months ago or last Tuesday, whatever it is. It's so wild. This is what I mean. Without Bellavate, you're juggling Google Sheets for manual tracking, Stripe plus handwritten logs for revenue, Instagram Insights for post performance, and your brain to guess which funnel is converting. And let's be honest, your brain deserves better. If you want to scale, then you need to optimize, and you can't optimize what you don't track. But the good news is you don't have to be a data nerd. You need a system that tracks what matters automatically, and that is what Bellavate does. If you want to stop wasting time on strategies that aren't working, you got to get on this. Everyone's number one problem is team, client communications, and team workflows. But I think everybody's number one problem is team. You want smooth operations, a better client experience, and that means more peace for you. So you know what used to stress me out more than anything in my business? Not knowing what was happening, what people are working on. Like, did that lead ever get a follow-up? That person ever message us back on Instagram? Did my team know that the new training dropped? Running a growing business without a centralized communication hub is like trying to lead a group project where everyone's using different apps and nobody reads the group chat. So here's what we do now. We use Bellavate because now my entire client team and client communications is synced and streamlined. I see every conversation happening with clients, from IG DMs to text messages to emails. I track where every lead is in the pipeline. So this inbox is pretty amazing because it brings everything together. So let's say a client texts you in the morning that she's running late, but then she decides to DM you and says like, oh, actually, I thought I had a flat tire. I'm fine. Do you want a Starbucks? And then you're over here with your phone and then with your laptop and you're like, who is Dog Lover 715? Trying to figure out who this client is. Bellavate seamlessly merges that client into one client so you know exactly who it is, every conversation they've ever had with you, all the way up to the very beginning. And their contact information is right at the right. So you see who it is, their pictures are there, all of the services that you've ever performed for them is there, and all of the conversations you've ever had with them is right there. So it actually makes you more personable. It actually makes the client experience more personal because there's also a place for notes over here where it shows you that, oh, Susie went to Bali last week. She just got back. The smoother your back end is, the better your client experience is. The better your client experience is, the more they trust in you, refer you, and come back. If you're not using Bellavate yet, here's what your setup probably looks like this. Meta Business Suite for Instagram, Facebook DMs, Google Voice for client texting, Slack, WhatsApp, Telegram for team chat, Google Calendar for appointments or Acuity, Trello or Asana to manage tasks, and your brain to somehow hold it all together. And none of these things talk to one another. That's not a system. That's a freaking scavenger hunt. And every time something falls through the cracks, you pay for it with your time, your money, your reputation. When your team and your clients are all in one place, there's no drama, there's no confusion, there's just clarity, accountability, and finally, freedom. So if your back end is giving chaos, it's time for a system that gives you peace. Okay, let's go to social media content creation. The lifeline of any beauty brand in 2025. That's what content is. Because let's be real, it's not just about being consistent anymore. It's about being convertible. Cute content that doesn't convert is just digital clutter. It's not bringing in leads, sales, or DMs. It's just a really pretty, fun hobby. And that's why I use Bellavate to manage my entire content system, not just to post, but to profit. And here's what I automate inside Bellavate. I do weekly content planning across Facebook, Instagram, Google Posts, email, TikTok. It auto posts for you across all these platforms because I can schedule launches, promotions, and nurture content in advance. This system is how I stay visible and why you probably keep seeing me online over and over again, because it builds trust and I'm consistent. I stay booked without burning out. Because let's be honest, if you are not using Bellavate yet, here's probably what your content setup looks like. Plan to schedule posts or later. Canva for design and hoping that it syncs. CapCut, InShot, or edits for Reels. Loom or ScreenPal for trainings. And posting reviews manually if you even remember to. And your brain, again, trying to keep track of what's going out, when, and where. That's not a content strategy. That is a freaking full-time job and one you're probably not getting paid for. You don't need more Canva templates. You need a system that helps you show up, stand out, and still have a life, I hope. Yes, I use a Sony ZV-E10 for tutorials and a Shure mic for crisp audio, but none of that matters if you don't have a system to plan, publish, and track your content consistently. So this allows you to batch content because that equals more freedom. And if you're tired of scrambling for what to post, wondering why your content isn't converting, it's time for a content calendar that runs itself. Okay, lastly, this is not sexy, but necessary. Let's get on the financial and legal side of things. This isn't the fun part of business. It's my least favorite. We all love Reels, DMs, the transformation, but if your financials and your waivers are a mess, eventually your business will be too. So it's not just about getting paid, it's about staying protected. If you don't have clear contracts that go out automatically and clean books, you are one refund request away, or one mischarge, or one missed tax payment away from panic mode. I use Bellavate to automate the entire back end of my business. Invoices go out automatically. Clients can pay in full or split payments. Memberships, contracts, waivers, right? E-signed, forget DocuSign, and they're stored in one place. It's clean, it's simple, and it saves so many headaches. Because the truth is, when you have your money and paperwork in order, you show up more confidently, and so do your clients. So without Bellavate, what did it look like? And what can you do? Stripe or Square for payments, QuickBooks, Cherry maybe for client financing, DocuSign from every single contract, and your brain trying to remember who paid and signed what. If you look over here on this tab, here is the Reports tab. You can download this, export this, give it to your bookkeeper, and call it a day. If you're screenshotting Zelle payments, chasing down signatures, and updating spreadsheets manually, you don't have a business system. You have a digital duct tape holding everything together. And the longer you delay organizing your finances and legal documents, the harder it becomes to scale, delegate, or even to sleep. And this stuff isn't sexy, but you know what is? Peace of mind. Clean books, clean business. Hooah. If you want to stop fearing the back end and finally feel like a real CEO, again, grab the automation guide at sheilabella.com/auto or schedule a Bellavate demo and let me show you how to protect your income, your time, and your peace. Okay, you guys, Bellavate does so much more than just everything that I told you. You got to grab the guide. And if you want a demo, a 60-minute strategy call, go to sheilabella.com/apply. sheilabella.com/apply. And myself or any one of my strategists can show you exactly how Bellavate can work for you and how we can customize it for your business and your client experience. Also, YouTube seems to be recommending this video up here, so go check it out, and I'll see you guys next week.